I'm doing this live, baby. This is an unboxing of The Academic by the Professor. So a deck box for Magic the Gathering. If you are new to this channel, this is probably not something that you have ever seen me do, but this is going to be Magic the Gathering. So in this box, we finally received from Kickstarter the Professors, the 133 Academic, whatever it's called. Early bird special. Hopefully, I haven't actually opened it, so this is going to be live. The box looks weird. I removed the address. But anyway, I'm going to open it up, but I'm going to put the box off to the side and pull things out once we go from there. But yeah, I love Magic. It's, I mean, you know, WotC has done some very questionable things lately. And so it's hard to love them. But the game that they've created and that, you know, Hasbro is now the parent company of is hard to not love. Magic is probably the best collectible card game in the world. Certainly the most collectible. So, as you can see, they kind of just toss the stuff in here. So we're going to move this off to the side and we'll pull it out one at a time. To start, got a divider. I'll maybe try to get that to focus. We got another divider. But a purple divider. So we'll just kind of keep shoving this stuff off the side. The actual box itself has its own early bird little seal there. We've got another divider, which honestly, I think I got too many of those. I'll show you why I got more than one in a second. This is a lot thicker than it looked. The double life counter. Let's see if we can get that into focus here. I picked the library one, 0 to 99. This will be nice. I should note that most of my Magic playing is done over Discord, actually. So I don't really play in person, which is why I've got this camera set up the way I do anyway. So these are the acrylic counters. They look nice. I'm going to put all this together. And if you read the title of the video, this is also a deck showcase for my Athreos Apostles deck. Just a deck archetype that I really fell in love with. So here is the playmat. There, the picture. I picked the library one. Sorry, I'm having to touch the camera each time to get it to focus. And then we'll start with this probably. It's sealed, but this is the spin down. Get that to focus. The D20 spin down. Cool. So that appears to be everything. It's something to be said for Kickstarter in general, because all the Kickstarters I've ever backed from the board gaming scene have always been, yeah, I'm going to get comments on how I'm cutting this with a knife. It's quite all right. Let me move this microphone so I can really get under the camera here. I've backed a lot of Kickstarters, and many of them at a high... Wow, this looks fantastic. Of course, the color is not what people were really expecting. Let me get this to focus. There we go. Because I think people were really expecting a deep sort of purple. But of course, it's a amethyst gemstone, and so it's going to change. But it looks fantastic, I think. I like the engraving. This is an actual spin down, right? So it's not technically a D20. I kind of wish they would have just made a D20. because it's a solid weight. And so, you know, you can't actually roll this for the sake of dice rolling or whatever. Especially the D&D set that's got a lot of the D20 rolls. But that's a gorgeous looking spin down. So we'll set that aside. Next up, we'll do the life counter. So let's take a look. Anyway, Kickstarter is not a platform for the impatient. And while I'm sure that most people aren't impatient that got this, you know, back this Kickstarter, it's, you know, they're not used to the fact that shipping internationally can take, I don't know, months, years even. I'm still waiting on Kickstarters from that I backed in 2019 that'll come, but that's just the nature of the beast. This is solid. This is a really solid acrylic, you know, life counter. These they're like, they got a bit of resistance in turning it, so you're not going to just bump it and all of a sudden you're down to 7 life. But yeah, solid. Love the visual, the logo, obviously the prof's logo, but just the library visual that the art depicts looks fantastic. I think every nerd's dream is to have a library of that scale in their house someday. Very few of us will ever achieve that, but we can dream. But that looks great. Trying to look at these counters. Probably won't open up the full deal because I don't want to spill them everywhere. But let's pull some of these out. Get a closer look. Yeah. So they look great. Love obviously the Professors logo, but you know, they clearly depict what they're trying to depict, +1, -1. And so these I'm going to put together in the deck box once we get everything open. And I might cut to some B-roll throughout this to get better, you know, angles of stuff. Like I said, I'm winging this, doing it live, because we very rarely get to record first true reactions. But that's what I wanted to do. So let me go stick these back in the bag, get that to focus up. I probably should have put all this to the side and done the playmat first, laid it out, and then gone from there. So I'm going to do the playmat now, and when we, you know, I'll do, by the powers of editing, I'll do a fancy cut, and that is the scene that you will see. So I actually don't own a single playmat for Magic. I've got one from Kickstarter for the 7th Continent. Again, the library, it looks fantastic. I mean, that's a beautiful playmat. Love the visual. I'll probably bring this out every time I play over Discord now with this exact sort of setup. But yeah, so it's beautiful. We're going to cut, and you'll see it all magically where it should be. So, and we're back. Beautiful playmat. It's worth noting that on Kickstarter, you could have gotten a few different designs, I believe. So this is just the stuff that I picked. The different designs include different, obviously, picture for the life counter. Different, well, the dice was it's a gemstone. It's all different, all unique. You could have gotten, I believe there were different colors for this. I think there's like a purple and a black ones, or I don't remember. So let's open at least one of these. We'll open the purple one, because that's the one that I'm going to use in this deck box. Honestly, I would expect them to GameGenic being them in this case, to make these available, if not already, in their store for their other deck box, which we're going to try out in this video. So if you have the cards layer, I believe it's called, I'll get it, it's sitting right here. It's really, this is exactly as advertised. Oh, nice logo. Yeah, so can't really go wrong there. If you have this by GameGenic, which is the cards layer that the prof reviewed, gave it an A+. I think he probably did that after he had been planning on working with them. But the truth of the matter is, I don't think the A+ is a wrong grade. That deck box is fantastic. Right now it's holding 3 of my double-sleeved commander decks, plus a ton of tokens, a ton of dice, plane chase cards, all of my commanders sleeved, double-sleeved, and in top loaders. Best deck box on the market until maybe likely this one. So we'll find out. Anyway, this one specifically is going to go in this deck box. These 3, like I said, I don't know what I probably only needed 2 extras. They're going to go in that other one. So let's move on to the main event. See if I know that there were some people that were struggling to get the right thing. But we'll see. This one's actually, labeled. Man, I am incapable of opening this. But there was only 2,000 spots for this early bird, right? And needless to say, they sold out quick. I was lucky enough to get one. I think I was backer number like 1,100 or something. But yeah. Start your own journey. Beautiful. Love the visual artwork. Honestly, Prof, if you ever watch this, I think the next endeavor you should partake in is creating an adventure board game. I don't know what that would look like. It can have merfolk. It can have whatever you darn well please. But this alone is just very inspiring of an adventure that, is yet to come. We're going on an adventure. So here's the little token, or not token, but I guess these are the stretch goal pack. So we'll take a look at that in a second. Here's the box itself. Beautiful. And I did want to do a little comparison. Let me make sure this is in focus. I did want to do a little comparison because, one, this is packaged extremely well. I want to do a comparison because, as you can see, this is a solid deck box. Unfortunately, the deck compartment is just too small to fit plane chase cards. And I imagine that if the professor could have foreseen the future and knew that with March of the Machines they were going to reprint plane chase cards to put in the EDH boxes, I would not be surprised if he would have lengthened this just ever so slightly. So, as we open this up, and there it is, limited edition Brian Lewis, aka the Professor. Gorgeous. If you don't have a GameGenic deck box, and maybe you didn't get in on this one, they're fantastic. But this one is extra fantastic. Anyway, with this acrylic divider, it would be nice if plane chase cards could fit right here. They can't because it's just, not long enough. But like I said, I think if he would have been able to predict what was going to, be, and we'll get this in there for the sake of comparison. I think he might have made that compartment slightly longer just for that sake, because it's great. I mean, Plane Chase, you know, is something that my friends and I love playing as far as actual EDH night goes. So it's wider, obviously not as long because it is a singular deck box. If we take a look at the inside of both of them, we'll do what the intended design is here. As you can see, this is going to fit a single deck, and then you've got the same compartments that this one has, which will have the 2 drawers, one of which I put tokens in, the other I put, well, more +1/+1 counters, well, plus counter dice, and then coins, and this random, I don't even think this is real. So the compartments are the same size, right? I'm fairly certain. I don't want to get that stuck in there, but yeah, I'm pretty sure these drawers are going to be the same size as this one. So anyway, we're going to get to that part. That'll be the next part of this video. But we'll put this off to the side for now. I'm very happy with this. This is a fantastic looking deck box. Peel off foil. I am not good at peeling off this stuff, so we'll do that at another time. But anyway, this, if you haven't already seen, this can go up at the front here in case you have like a boulder or some other deck box that needs that extra space. But if you're like me, I'm just gonna stick a deck in here. I'll probably put a commander and probably this counter. Yeah, that fits right there. There's Athreos. So this is the deck that we're going to be showcasing in the remainder of this video. Beautiful foil. I believe this was a secret layer. Athreos, God of Passage. So he's going to go there. It is worth noting that this can fit top loaders. So this top compartment can fit top loaders. But I do not believe these will not fit top loaders. It's okay because one of these is going to get dice. The other is going to get treasure tokens and zombie tokens. So yeah, we'll deal with that when the time comes. Otherwise, gorgeous deck box. Very pleased with this. If you did not back this and you missed out, it's a bummer. I wouldn't be surprised if GameGenic offers a variation of this that's maybe not Professor, branded, but we'll see. I don't know. It's hard to say. Oh, I forgot. We have this. So this is the tokens that everybody got who backed this Kickstarter. Well, they're really just like, I think there's Merfolk tokens. I think there's treasure tokens. There might be a few blank cards. And then there's this thank you token. I am the receiver of 29,987. Close to being exactly 30,000, but not so lucky today. Here's the blank one. Obviously got the Prof's logo on the back. Merfolk. I do not have a Merfolk deck, but I'll probably put those in a binder or sleeve them. Foil, and this is more etched foil, but I really like the etched foil treatment that Magic has been getting in some of the cards, and you'll see some of that in this deck that I'm going to go over. So we got a few of those tokens, and then one more of the blank. So yeah, these are gorgeous. So I'll end up sleeving these. I just have some generic silver sleeves that I use for my tokens, and so we'll put those, but they will end up going in probably one of the containers. So this deck is my favorite deck that I've ever put together. It's nothing groundbreaking. Obviously, I was inspired by game nights. There's a bit of my own flair in here. Otherwise, the deck list is about as trim as you can make it and still be a true classic Athreos Shadowborn Apostles deck. The nice thing is it's done. So we're going to start with the creatures. And, there we go. So you obviously have a whole bunch of Shadowborn Apostles. If you don't know, you can read it, but Shadowborn Apostles, you get 6 of them on the field, you pay a mana, black mana, sack 6 of them, and you tutor for a demon. You put that onto the battlefield, then shuffle. That's the gimmick. With Athreos, anytime a creature dies, an opponent of your choosing has to either pay 3 life or it goes back to your hand. Obviously, if it goes back to your hand, that's really good. You get to keep cycling through this. So a bunch of Shadowborn Apostles. In fact, 29 of them. So there's that. And then what they tutor for are these. So 9 times out of 10, you'll tutor for this, because immediately entering the battlefield, you get a second tutor. And so most of the time, the next time you would do this, you would tutor for this. And this, Razaketh is basically a win condition, because if you get him and you've got like a Phyrexian Arena, which we'll get to, it's nearly unstoppable, especially if you've got more Shadowborn Apostles because of another card that we'll get to. So then Harvester of Souls, great for card draw. Ob Nixilis, just a nasty creature to throw on the battlefield for your opponents. This one, though, is one of my favorite. So, for instance, you sack 6 Shadowborn Apostles. An opponent at 40 life, being cheeky, throws all of them into the graveyard, taking 18 life. All of a sudden, you, instead of going the route of getting Rune Scarred, you tutor for this. Now, at the end of your turn, not only did they just lose 18 life, they will now have lost whatever it is, 36. Which means they're at 4 life. Out of a 40 life game of EDH, they're at 4 life. Busted. A ton of fun. This is probably unnecessary, but it is a 3-drop. So if you get this in your hand, like, I would never tutor for this. But playing this, being flying, and it does have card draw, and since all of our, well, most of our creatures, certainly all the Shadowborn Apostles, are clerics, this also is a cleric, it's going to trigger its second effect, getting you that card draw. So great. But the most important card in this combo is Edgewalker, which makes all the Shadowborn Apostle clerics free. So, you get this out on the field. Most of the time, Rune Scarred will come out. You'll tutor for this. If you can play this, and you've got some Shadowborn Apostles in your hand, you can play this, play the Shadowborn Apostles for free. But as we looked at, this is a cleric, so this costs 1 black, so, or less, so it's a free 2 of any color drop. Blood Artist is one of the win cons as far as like the actual combo goes, because you get that out on the field, Phyrexian Arena, and then you can just mill you target player out of life until they're dead. This one is sort of a pet card. It's a worse version of Blood Artist because it doesn't get you the life upon death, only entering the battlefield. But it's also a cleric, and it's also just a black and a white, which means with Edgewalker, it is 100% free. And it's got Death Touch, which is also nice when it comes to blocking. So just a very good backup. This is one of those etched foils that just looks gorgeous. Of course, like being double sleeved, I don't know if the camera will pick it up as well. This is a slightly worse version of Zulaport Cutthroat, because Zulaport Cutthroat is effectively Blood Artist with the caveat that it hits all opponents rather than just a single target, but whatever. Zathrid, nice way to get a bunch of zombies out on the field, which also I'm going to put some zombie tokens in the deck box. And then this is kind of a, last-ditch effort to get your Zathrid, this is not a human. That's not a human either. And that's not a human. Okay, so really it's just for your Shadowborn Apostles, which makes sense, because that is 29 cards in the deck. And then we're back to these. So, next up, instants, sorceries, and enchantments. Now, obviously tutors, so Enlightened Tutor. With this, you're going for either Thrumming Stone or maybe Dictate of Erebus. Vampiric Tutor, whatever you want. Anguished Unmaking. Obviously a fantastic removal at the cost of 3 life and 3 mana, but it's not a destruction, so just straight exile is fantastic. Faith's Reward gets all creatures back that died that turn, so great if you late game, if someone nukes the board. Ad Nauseam, a little more competitive, you know what that does, but you obviously have it in hand, save mana, cast it right before your turn at the end step of your previous opponent's turn. Of course, everybody's favorite, the original, the OG tutor for anything, and a nice Strixhaven showcase. The equipment tutor, which again, goes straight to your hand, and there are 2 pieces of equipment in this deck. We'll get to those. A slightly worse version. Actually, I don't really know. I've wondered about this card many times. So then we've got Vindicate. I just love the artwork. This is obviously a worse Anguish Unmaking. I guess the difference is this is a sorcery speed and Anguish is instant. So that's a thing. Vindicate, just love the artwork, but also another targeted removal. Merciless Eviction, a nice board wipe. Echoing Return, return all creature cards, the same name as that card from your graveyard to hand, so another way to get Shadowborn Apostles back. Same with Secret Salvage. And then Immortal Servitude, which is really the best. And then finally, before we get to the 2 enchantments, Tendrils of Agony. I mean, in many cases, with Thrumming Stone, you might be playing 20 cards. That's enough by playing this to kill a single opponent in one go. Remembrance, great way to continue getting apostles and not really getting a downside if the opponent chooses to put it into the graveyard. And then Dictate of Erebus, why not punish your opponent when something of yours dies? Fantastic. So we move on to the artifacts, and these are important for many reasons, but first is Thrumming Stone, which is important simply because this only works in a Shadowborn Apostle deck, or there's some rat card that you can have any number of in your deck. But obviously you play Shadowborn, it has Ripple 4, so you look at the top 4 of your deck. If any of them are Shadowborn Apostles, you play those, and it repeats and repeats. And many times you can get 20 plus Shadowborn Apostles out. Fantastic. We got Phyrexian Arena. Everybody's favorite sack a creature, get any mana you want. With Razaketh, this on the field, and like 6 Shadowborn Apostles, that's enough to end the game. Usually, I should say. Or 7 Shadowborn Apostles, because you would need 1 to sack for the mana. Skull Clamp is one of the equipments. Obviously a fantastic card draw. It'll kill a Shadowborn Apostle outright. But more importantly, it gets you those 2 cards. And so not only are you triggering Athreos, but you're also drawing cards, going through your deck, and many times you get those apostles back. Of course, we've got the mana rocks, very important in every commander deck that's ever existed. This card, and then if you've got the money for it, Mana Crypt. And then Gilded Lotus. I actually had a Chromatic Lantern in this deck, and it wasn't that bad, but Gilded Lotus is better. Getting 3 mana of any one color, in this case mostly probably black, is extremely helpful. So let's go to Sensei's Divining Top. When combined with Bolas's Citadel is fantastic card advantage. And Sensei's Divining Top is just a fun card. Who doesn't want to see more of their deck and plan your card draws? And then Expedition Map, which there's a land combo that this is really here for. We'll get to. And then there's the other pair of equipment. This I would use on Edgewalker specifically. So now we're into the land, which is nothing fancy, but I did want to showcase the treatments of these cards, because this is the whatever they did with the 40k stuff, like the oil. It was not the oil slick. I don't remember what they called it, but beautiful command tower. There's Urborg and Cabal Coffers. That's if you've got one and you got Expedition Map, you can go get the other, and then all of a sudden you've got a ton of mana together with these two. Orzhov Basilica. I go back and forth on if this card is good, or either any of these whatever, I don't know what they're called, because while they're cool and the art in here is sweet, you don't really have card advantage or draw advantage or land advantage or whatever it is. But whatever. Isolated Chapel. One of the third, I know there's a new land, a new dual lands that are, if you have more than 1 or 2 opponents or something, it doesn't come in tapped. So you could really swap this out for one of those if you wanted. Sometimes I play just 1v1, and so having this is probably the best dual land you can get, except for some others. So Strip Mine, so we're into the sort of utility land. Strip Mine, Homeward Path, in case someone gets cheeky and steals Athreos or anything. Reliquary Tower, can help with Ad Nauseam or just Skull Clamp or whatever. And then we get the fetch land, Marsh Flats. So I'm not going the super competitive route and having all the different fetches that'll technically work, even though they can go grab colors that aren't in this deck, because I don't need them, especially for this 2-color deck when so much of my deck is low costing. But Marsh Flats will go and either get a Godless Shrine or the granddaddy of them all, the Scrubland. So, and then we've got the basics. And so I am the monster that has different basics for each of my, like, different arts for each basic. So we've got both the Kamigawa lands, foil, and all these are foil. We've got the Unfinity ones. While I'm not a huge fan of the swamp, the plain Unfinity that's in the Galaxy foil, which I don't know if you'll be able to see it, is fantastic. Swamp, Phyrexian, these are Theros and I don't remember. John Avon Swamp, because you have to have John Avon to play in my play group. Not really, but we love John Avon lands. I really like the gold foiled border on these. I don't remember what set this was. One of the unsets. We've got the Godzilla land. We've got Tokyo. We've got Dracula. We've got this one, which fit the theme I felt. It's from New Capenna. And then the planes. This is, in my opinion, one of the best looking planes in all of Magic the Gathering, as far as foil treatment, art, all that stuff. And I tried to pair them with similar ones that I have in Swamp. So all of this is going to go in a nice little home that is this deck box I love it. Fantastic deck box for my favorite deck. I'll get that before they decide to fall. And this little divider's great. Yeah, look at that. Keeps everything nice and snug. I mean, it's not even compressed at all. But, and this will go in one of these compartments. But yeah, there you have it. Thank you for watching. This is The Academic.